I can't recommend code finds enough. Yeah, nice, nice getting around the censor. You can make combinations of missions that players can have daily. There are 49 tons of combinations. Yeah, exactly. That's what I've got with. We've got all these game options here, like the linear damping and angular damping on the ball, and if you can kick and stun force and immunity. I've got basically 50 or 60 degrees of freedom. But this is a little bit more planned than just pulling names out of a hat, hopefully. All right, so what are some of the things that we really have to learn in a tutorial mission? I think the only thing is there is a dash button. You need to hold it to run fast. Um, all right, and then we should have things we want players to discover. All right, so things I want players to discover. Uh, Running into walls causes you to be stunned. Goals are difficult to get. Pop-up is very effective for ball control, as opposed to smashing. It's best to control the ball close to you and not just hit as hard as possible. Yeah, it's kind of the thing, Adam. I don't think we see eye to eye on all the tutorial stuff, so don't get upset if I'm not on board with everything. I'm trying to be, I don't know. Tutorials to me are things in the game. Like that's why I'm trying to define this as an environment in which the player can explore the game and discover its mechanics, as opposed to the tutorial is a mission that tells the player what they can do. Like you pull up, and there's a professor and he's just like, pointing at a wall. He's like, Mega Man can jump, so you have to fucking jump 10 times, you asshole. And if you don't jump, you can't go on to the next room, which has, it's kind of like if you're at Hogwarts, right, and you're learning how to like blast other wizards and do all that sort of shit, and it's supposed to be a fun class, and then somehow the teacher is such an asshole about teaching it that it turns out to be the worst thing ever. So you're like, awesome, we did the cool thing of learning how to do this amazing stuff, but because it was just like slammed down our throat, I hate life and everything in it. And not get annoyed every time I kick it towards the goal and just run back thinking you made it in. Because tutorials, I don't know. I hate tutorials, and maybe it's because I've been asked to make so many tutorials in other games, like Dragon Age Legends tutorial was just fucking awful. Because it's like, it was basically like getting through the tutorial is just pulling fucking teeth. It's just like, I get it, there are things, yes. Please let me make my own decisions now. I understand how to throw a potion at an orc. I don't need. Yes, I realize that's an icon. Oh yeah, sticky ball stuff, Lucas, is I don't think a very fun game mode. We experimented. And if you're asking for general development advice, Mr. Labs, the best thing for learning about coding is somebody else to learn with. So go get somebody who you can program with and collaborate with, and that'll help you from developing, bad solo habits and hopefully be motivating. It can be kind of a pain in the ass if you're collaborating with somebody who's a lot more experienced than you are, because then they're always right about shit, and that can be a real pain in the ass and very difficult to work with. Because if somebody has to be right all the time, like me, you end up hating that person pretty fast because they're just jerks. Especially when they are right a lot. That's even worse because you're like, yeah, you're right, but you're an asshole, and that's not fun to deal with. So, is there anything else we have to learn? We want people to learn about wall jumps. Wall jumps. Wall jumps might be a have to learn. Because the rest of it is kind of like pop up is very effective. Like you'll hit the buttons on the controller. Like you have to know that you actually have like things, but that's not too crazy to be honest. The cops are outside. Oh shit! I had the drugs. Let's be honest here. Devil 23 probably needs more friends. All right, let's see. So I'm trying to think of these missions in terms of what else are we gonna learn? I mean, obviously you're gonna need to learn that you can jump and move around, but that's not super crazy. Um, you should learn all the buttons on the controller. I'm trying to think, am I just missing really obvious shit? I guess another thing to discover would be punching bots is not always the best idea. That's something. Alright, so another kind of category of things here would be things we show the player. So what are we going to show the player? Um, multiple balls, multiple maps, or should we even take them off the map? I think only one map, but with variations. Are they going to need to learn to hit the ball in the goal? I think that would go under things we tell the player. That might also be something we show the player. Like if we put them in a match with a bot friend. Alright, so why don't we start actually making specific missions. Tutorial mission list. Okay, so what would be the very first thing that you'd put somebody in there? What would I do? Well, I don't need to start at the beginning. I can just start somewhere. I should actually start with how many missions we probably want for a tutorial series, because I think they could get very complicated and difficult. Yeah, what are some other things? I think it would be nice if the tutorial missions also had some overall very difficult thing to accomplish, such as the challenges aren't hard to succeed at, but are very difficult in terms of the rankings. I guess, yeah, one thing here is that the game is hard. The game is difficult to play well. So what would be a list here? Alright, we want a 1v1 easy bot. One with one easy bot. So bot friend. Score goals. Score 2 goals in no time limit. Well, hopefully whatever police action you're dealing with, sir, is not of a nefarious sort. Alright, so we do kind of want an introduction level. Something with a... What do we want the introduction level to have? Anyway, so we do want an introduction level. We want score goals, no time limit, score goals, time limit? We're also going to want a Oh, what else? Like a collectible, collect the things mission. So if we have to dash, let's have a learn to dash mission and learn to wall jump mission. Yeah, I guess what it should be is we should have a learn the level mission. So it's basically that sort of thing. Thank you for the cheers, sir. All the pennies dropping all the time. Thank you, sir. We'll take that nickel and we'll put it over in the jar that pays for everything forever. Let's see. Because this is the problem, is when you start making, like, what are the missions actually going to be? It's like, ah, shit, I want it to be good. I don't want to take forever to do it. But actually going in, thinking about it, because tutorials can be kind of a pain in the ass. So what do we want? We pretty much want this to culminate in an actual, like, a kind of a 2v2 bots. Yeah, why don't we just do that? Like a 1v2 and then like a 1v3. Click the things, score goals. Score goals with multi-ball would be good. Alright, we don't really have to do all these, so maybe we should actually have the final mission be like a 1v3 standard bots, because we don't have to do too crazy much. Or maybe we shouldn't even have bots in the tutorial missions. Because if the goal is to create an environment in which the player can explore the game, discover its mechanics, an environment which isn't hostile to them, then we don't want the player to get punched by anybody. So we should take out all the bots that Alright, so basically we'll have something for tutorial is we never punch the player to hell. I'm trying to think, how are we actually going to get the player to like get some of these running shots without having a bot in there to beat the crap out of you. Like, you'd have to have something where you spawn a ball in, and then the ball resets after a certain number of touches on the ground. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright. So we might actually have enough to make the tutorial missions then. Alright, so standard matches against bots. Okay, so why don't we actually make different categories for this? If we had, we'd have like solo v bot, and then we'd have maybe team matches. Alright, well, take as much time as you need. So this will be solo the bot. So what do we want? Should we have some sort of difficulty? Sort of, if I was going to rank the levels in terms of difficulty. Because probably what we want to do is have a consistent pattern of Meadowcrest is an easy map, and we want to keep that the same, so let's just have levels, let's rank them in terms of difficulty. So if I put these in terms of difficulty, where would they be? Well, Grasslands Day is definitely the easiest. Forest 1 is actually pretty difficult. Mushroom Hall is not super difficult, but it's more technical. Grasslands Night is not very difficult. Caverns 1's actually really simple. Like, there's not much to it. You just punch the ball in that direction. Is Caverns 1 easier than anything else, actually? I think if I was gonna arrange these missions in terms of difficulty, would I put all the really difficult ones on the forest level because it's so big? Alright, in development, have a good night. Everything turns out for me. You don't know what it is. Good luck. Alright, cool. Well, I am working on, I can send you the site here. I'm working on this game, Dashkin game. This game called Dashkin. It's Unreal 4, C++. Just doing planning right now for actually figuring out what I want to make. Oh, developed one. Never mind. All right. Well, have a good night later. Anyway, all right. So if I have the difficulty, I'm trying to think. The Forest Day and Mushroom Hall are actually pretty similar in visuals because they're both forest levels. Caverns is dark. This is dark. This is light, and this is light. If I was going to... I kind of like the idea of having the Grasslands Night be the second kind of level because it's not challenging. It's just different. Caverns 1 is pretty damned samey as Grasslands, but it's dark and it's got cool music. Mushroom Hall is actually, it combines the technical, and then Forest is like just... The Forest map, you gotta know how to score the fucking ball because just it's tough. So I think that's probably what I'll do is I'll try to ramp the difficulty of these missions up based on and try to keep that theme going. Why don't we change these guys in terms of violence, level violence? So if I had all these, which ones of these are violent? Mushroom Hall is super goddamn violent. Um, Grasslands at Night is, I mean, Forest 1 is also pretty violent. Like, it's not super violent though, in terms of it's not just a running fight of getting the snot punched out of you. Caverns is damn violent because it's just running. Yeah. All right. So how do we want to ratchet up the bots? So we could do 1v1 bot, easy, grasslands. First to 3. 1v1 bot, easy, grassland. Okay, there's another thing here. We can actually do a defend the goal. As part of the tutorial mission series. So things, yeah, things that we want people to do. Score goals, prevent goals, yeah. Alright, why don't I actually put together a reason. So the goal, solo the bot missions are standard missions where the player can challenge themselves to take on increasingly difficult bot armies. Alright, well, I'll be right back. Maybe I should break these categories up into kind of unlocking the various maps, such as there's like solo V-bots, easy, medium, hard sort of thing. Yeah, okay, maybe that's what we need. Should probably do it that way. And we just amp it up, and threes are always just nasty. Alright, so scoring challenge missions. So, goal. Goal of scoring challenge missions is to create an environment in which the player can get very good at scoring goals on specific maps. The idea is that players should be able to quickly retry scoring attempts rack up lots of goals, score in different ways. Yeah, so things like this, we're going to have probably move the player spawn locations. Man, there's work to do for that sort of thing. All right, well, I think today I'm just going to be doing planning. Because I'm pretty tired today. And if we have to delay a day for whatever, then we will. Alright, so the goal of scoring challenges is, yeah, okay, so... Okay, that makes sense. So we'll have scoring challenge 1, 2, and 3. I think rule of threes on this will work. Maybe I'll get to actually working if I wake up. Okay, collect objects. So what else have we got? So the collect object missions. The goal of collecting objects is to create an environment in which the player works on their navigation skills and learns and experiment with different types of moves. So I think we could only have like collect objects 1 and collect objects 2, and then we'd probably be combining stuff. Alright, so what's the purpose of ball control missions? The goal of ball control missions is to challenge players with difficult environments in which to navigate their balls. Focus should be on tight control of the balls. Aerial hits and difficult shots on goals. Then we have impossible missions. Goal. The impossible missions are missions which are very difficult, one-off experiences which are broken, which are purposefully which which push the game mechanics to their limits in ways that may often appear broken. Completing the missions themselves is very difficult, and getting top ranks is nearly impossible. Alright, so the other thing would be, how do we want to ranking, how do we want to score ranking? So ranking, basically it's whatever is most difficult. So ball control missions, rankings are based on probably ball touch counts, lower being better in most cases. Collect objects, rankings are based on time and on number of objects collected. Time, number of objects collected, and wall hits would be a good one for that. Scoring challenges. The goal of scoring challenges is to create an environment in which the player can very quickly... Alright, all rankings are basically how many goals you got. What are the rankings for the tutorial missions based off of? Probably just time. Alright, so what would the rankings be based off of in terms of soloing the bots? Probably time to victory. Or based off of time, goals scored on yourself. Alright, and Team VBots is going to be rankings based off of time and goals that you score. I don't want to do any like assists or anything like that. Seems silly. Alright, so I think we can actually make our categories then. So we have training, scoring challenge, one through three. We've got collection or movement challenge. We'll have solo, and then we'll have team. I mean, I should probably just have all these things 1 through 3. So I think these are our categories: training, scoring, movement, control, solo, team, and impossible. It's probably enough. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 different categories. But it looks like 5 different real types: scoring, movement, control, solo, and team. So that'll be like 6 missions in each category, something like that. Which is pretty much the type of... We have 5 levels, right? So 5 times... What's 5 times 17? 85? So it's pretty much every single one of these should have 1 map or whatever. Alright. Though I might not want to introduce all the levels all at once. We'll see. Alright, well I think that's our enums for this guy. So I should go physically create all the missions to start with. So I should make a placeholder mission that is set up with some basic things for everything. Let me see, I can make some basic template missions, and then I can kind of copy paste those out from other places. We can't use dashes, so I need to use underscores. That's gonna probably be a problem. Because we don't have a UI interaction layer for those enums. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Oh, we need also mission thumbnails. So, excellent. We're making progress. Like, I know this design is a real kind of, I don't know. You can spend a lot of time writing shit down on a cave wall, but actually putting pedal to the metal, making things that in reality now exist, can be pretty daunting, especially when we don't have any missions yet. It's like, what's the worst? The worst thing for a creative person: blank canvas, an empty page, a title of a book, and nothing else. Things like that. For an engineer, the worst thing is when nothing works and you don't know why, or when the documentation is wrong. The book's, according to the documentation, this should be 5, but it's 4. What the fuck? The random number generator always returns 4. What are we doing wrong? Having a horrible time. That's right. So while we're waiting for this to compile, let's see. Level size? Larger. This will be smaller. Larger. I think Grasslands Night's small. Caverns 1 is small. Mushroom Hall. Caverns 1 is, yeah, it's kind of small. No, is grasslands in the middle of that? Should we rate them by spooky level? All right, let's boot this editor up. Okay, so what we need to make is create template missions for types. We also want to make placeholder missions for every category and do all that. Let's get going. Let's boot this up. Do the thing. Okay, so what I want a templates. And let's go through all these categories and start making them. So let's make our scoring 1.